Hey guys, I wanted to do a quick video here because I uploaded a video about 2 days ago about zip ties and why you should use these metal zip ties over plastic zip ties, and I've gotten a lot of private messages in my inbox, and I really am just going to clear this up with a video because I didn't know so many people would be interested in this. Go figure. So I'm redoing a vehicle. I'm restoring an old Mustang, and if you don't follow my channel, and if you're restoring any kind of a car, you're working on a car, you're going to run into the issue of needing to tether two items next to each other, or you're going to need to, for example, you may have a fuel hose, and you may have a conduit line or a wire area that needs to be connected to one another. You're going to need something, some sort of an attachment method to get those two pieces together, and it also needs to be readily available, and it needs to be affordable. So this is not going to apply to your numbers matching new old style restoration, or numbers matching everything has to be perfect restoration, because they didn't use zip ties back in the day, and they didn't use this type of attachment system. But if you're going for just a good quality hold, watch me here. So I have a couple of different zip tie types, and I don't need to explain where you get zip ties. You can get them everywhere. This is $5-10 at Ace. It's a whole assortment of zip ties. They get the job done, but they're ugly as hell, and they don't stand up to heat. So this becomes a problem when you start putting them near exhaust manifolds or running them underneath the vehicle, where you're going to have some temperature going on. So, and they don't look very good. I mean, they're pretty ugly. You can even, I got them in black here. I got these off of Amazon. Again, they're all right, but they're ugly, and they're not going to hold up to heat, and they're actually not that strong if you give them a good tug. So I just want to demonstrate here real quick, and then I'm going to get into these two types of conduit. But say you're going to go run through and you need to attach. Okay, you're going to run through. This is your typical zip tie attachment, and you guys all know this. But you attach similar to this. You would attach in this fashion, take an end nipper and you nip it off just like that, so it's square. Okay, that's your basic look. But with the metal zip tie, I already have one together here. This works on a different principle. This is actually, it's a similar principle, but it creates a perfect circle every time you bring them together. So you're going to get a better geometrical look to whatever you attach to. So if you run them on some conduit like this, you're going to get the same function, whereas you're going to pull them tight, okay, like that, and they're going to have the exact same clamping force as this plastic tie, but now it's going to uphold heat, and it's going to look way better in the engine bay. So when you clip this off with your nipper, they're a little harder, okay, I didn't cinch that down real hard, but you're going to get that look instead, which is way nicer than this. I mean, even if you ran a black zip tie on here, you say something like that, it's just not as good looking here. And this is and the whole task of a zip tie too is to you don't want to use a zip tie as the end all be all attachment. So your zip ties are used as assists. So if I can show you here, I keep everything in these Illy espresso cans here. These are what you want to run for a permanent run, right? So say you're running down the bottom of the vehicle, and you have like, for in my case, I have a couple of fuel lines. You don't want to just zip tie your fuel lines underneath to whatever's existing there. These aren't meant to be a structural attachment method. You want to use something like this, where you can get this around, right? This wouldn't be the correct size, but you would get this around, and then you run a screw through here. Preferably, you would want to run one of these screws. If you're working under a vehicle, you're going to run a self-tapper, okay, and these can also be found everywhere, but you're going to run a self-tapper into the underside metal here, and you're going to run that, okay, up into your vehicle or under your chassis or along your firewall. That's going to be your permanent attachment method. Your zip ties are going to be your assists. So this is common knowledge to anyone that's been worked on cars in the past, but some people don't know that, and I see a lot, looking at cars all the time, I see a lot of people just use zip ties everywhere, and they use it to keep things together, and that's not really what they're for. They use them for structural. That's not what they're for. They're used to just kind of join and keep things neat. So these metal zip ties are exceptionally nice when it comes to, and I don't want to burn up all my zip ties, but I'll demonstrate here for you for the video. This is the way they work. They come with this end, and this end would similarly resemble this end, right, in terms of an old conventional style zip tie. And the way they work, and they're beveled and cut like this on purpose, because once you clip one of these and you try to maybe pull it tighter, it'll poke the living crap out of your finger. You can see I got some nasty cuts on my finger from these, so be careful. But when you run these in, I'll demonstrate like this. They go in, right, and as soon as they're in a little bit, this little metal prong in here acts like a brake, and it doesn't allow it to open. So you feed them in, and you give them a good pull, they're not going to release, which is great. I mean, you can break a plastic zip tie if you pull it on hard enough. So that's how they work, and then you just cinch them down, right? So we'll just create a smaller, tighter connection. So I'll leave these. Maybe I can use this one over again, but you can't release them unless you push in on this retainer. In here, you probably can't see it, but you can reuse them if you push that in and pull it back out. Now, these zip ties, in case you guys are wondering, and no, I'm not getting paid by this zip tie company, but they're 11.8 inches by an 1/18 stainless steel cable locking zip ties, and they're made to industrial standards. I don't know where they're made. I don't know if they're made in the USA or not, but definitely a must-have if you're doing a restoration and you want a little bit better aesthetic associated with your vehicle. Now, the next thing I want to touch before I get too long, my videos are always long, is conduit, right? So a lot of vehicles you'll see, old trucks, car, everything, use this plastic crap to put wire in. So they take a bunch of wires, they use this to kind of clamps everything together, and it conceals it and keeps it nice and tidy. But the problem is, this was taken actually off the Project Mustang. Problem is what they do, they open up over time. So as they heat up, they start to kind of do this, and then your wires come out. Okay, that's not cool, because then they're not even doing their job anymore, they're exposing it. So what I use is this. This is split loom, nylon split loom. It's really good, it's made for high heat, and it looks way better. It just looks like a hose when everything's put together. And the way it works is it's real tightly wound. It's like a Chinese finger trap. And you open it up, and you start it off by installing the wire in here, you roll it, and then as you go down the line, you run your finger through, and it'll install the wire where you need it to. And then to get a really sharp, polished look, take a little black tape, electrical tape, cut it in half, and tape it around about 3 turns, and then take you one of these metal zip ties, okay, so basically what that's doing is it's getting rid of the fray, the black electrical tape, and then you take one of these zip ties and you bring it around nice and tidy, and it looks like a professional clamp job, but it's wiring, so it's really good. It's a good way to protect your wire. So a couple of things you need to definitely put in your toolbox are these metal zip ties. Definitely get you an assortment of these self-tappers. I have these in all different sizes. A must-have. They self-drill into the metal and run your screw in at the same time, plus they look really good. They're galvanized. Actually, no, these are, let me see. These are self-drilling tech screws, 410 stainless steel. Awesome stuff. Not going to corrode. Look really good. Make sure you get yourself a bunch of different size rubberized clamps. Plastic zip ties do have their purpose, so pick them up, but try to stay away from them if you can. They make the vehicle restoration look terrible. Go with these. So hopefully you guys gained some knowledge out of this video. I didn't think I'd be doing another video about zip ties, but just from all the PMs I've gotten over 2 days, I feel like it was necessary. So I appreciate you guys watching. Please remember to thumbs up the video and subscribe. And if I get to 100,000 subscribers, I am buying a Shelby Cobra, and I'm going to build it step by step here in the garage, and you guys can follow me on my journey. So please sub, please tell your friends, and if you have any questions about any of this stuff, let me know. I'd be more than happy to help you out. So thanks for watching, guys. Later.